Every transformation happens in the Chrysalis. I'm your host, Cindy Berger, and this is Conversations from the Chrysalis, a My Journey podcast. Here, we talk about the hard stuff, breakthroughs, and things that shape us into who we are becoming. This is your space to hear real stories, reflect, and feel inspired. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and step out of this chrysalis with me and into your transformation. Today, we've got an interview that I've been really looking forward to. I have a good friend of mine. His name is Jason, and he will be telling us about his story. So, Jason, thank you so much for being here, and I'm so happy we could connect and do this today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay.
So take us back to the beginning of your story. What was that like? What were you struggling with? What's your story?
Well, in Australia here, the drinking culture is a very big thing, big part of society, big part of my family, and when I was a kid, I wasn't really interested. I didn't ever want to drink sort of thing. But there was one time where I was about 16 or something, or 14, 15. And I went to my mum's friend's wedding and got really, really drunk on cheap white wine.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's so this night when I was, a teenager, I got really, really drunk and woke up the next day with a massive hangover, and yeah, it was pretty bad. And
What happened after that? Like, from that experience? So you got drunk, you at a party, and what happened after that? Did it become like an immediate thing, or did it like progress over time?
Yeah, it was pretty quick. I mean, I was quite young, but when I got drunk, I thought, oh, this is what everybody's talking about. This is why everybody does it. I thought this is the greatest thing. And I thought I was the funniest person in the room and all the rest of it. But it wasn't too good. So, but then it just progressed on from there over time, going to the nightclubs and everything, and drinking always spirits, not really beer or anything like that. So it was right into the hard stuff
What year
straight away.
was that? Like, take us back. How far would you say that this started for you?
Well, it really started as a teenager, and even because I wasn't very good at school and I hated it. So there are actually times when I go home at lunchtime and have a few rums from my parents' liquor cabinet sort of thing. I was half sloshed, and I just thought, oh, great. It's like I don't know, it's just like an escape sort of thing. But as the years rolled by, it just gradually got worse and worse, and there were consequences to, the way I was acting when I was drunk. It's almost, I always liken it to like handing the keys over to a really nice car that you have, and then it comes back the next day with scratches and dents all over it. You're responsible for that,
Right.
even though it was like you gave it to somebody else, and the somebody else is the whatever takes over when I black out. It's almost like just another person. At the end of the day, I had to take the responsibility for that. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't me.
So you were like a high functioning type of person.
Yes, I always was, always worked and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kept everything together in life, but beneath the surface, things were far worse than I ever let on to anybody else.
How long did it take you to like realize that this could be or might be an issue for you?
It probably, by the time I was about 21, well, when I was 21, I moved away from my hometown to Townsville, which is in the north of Queensland. So when I was up there, I just really partied on and drinking just heavily, like it was like a badge of honor sort of thing. Like there was some strangely romantic thing about destroying myself, And there was a lot of times I had a lot of fun. It was just great. The slight benefit of being drunk and sort of throwing caution to the wind and just escaping, that was really great. No worries at all. but the consequences over the years, they got more and more and more. And it just went on for, I don't know, something years.
You actually brought up a good point. You mentioned, trying to, numb things. Like, what do you think deep down? And, obviously any question that I ask that you are uncomfortable with answering, you obviously do not have to answer. But what do you think you were trying to numb, escape, or like survive from at the time? Or was it just like a social thing for you?
It was probably self-sabotage, because I've always felt like I don't deserve any success or anything like that. And, it was sort of half this romantic thing of like the complete alcoholic. And there was something like I've never admitted it then, but I really kind of liked that in a way, which is just so wrong.
Yeah.
Of course, nowadays I embrace sobriety, and that's sort of the drug that I use, and it's just a natural thing.
Right. I also remember you telling me that it's basically like a normal thing, like it's just what people do or did,
Yes, yeah, that as well. It's a big thing in Australian society. We used to have these things called early openers. It'd be the pub that opens at 6 o'clock, and all the guys that are alcoholics,
right,
they'd go there and get drunk before work. That's what my uncle's done. And I never blame anybody for what I went through. Like, my father was probably technically an alcoholic, but he was just drink beer. And my uncle, he was like full on drinking brandy straight from the bottle. It's incredible. He lived to be, in his 70s.
wow.
Like in the 80s, we were thinking he was probably going to die. Anyway, got through to older age sort of thing. So maybe it was a bit of genetics and influence of that, but I never blame any of them. It was all my doing. So,
it's awesome to hear that you have that self-awareness.
Yeah, well.
What was the hardest part about getting honest about it? Was there shame? Were there days that you wanted to give up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, many times.
Yeah.
The hardest thing is hurting the ones I love completely unintentionally, just because of my behavior.
Yeah.
Everybody, my mother, my family, brother and sister, my partner, and I think that was the hardest part, when those people held the mirror up to me as to show me what I was really like. It was really, really, it was hard, but I had to accept it after a while. And in fact, my partner, she comes over and stays on the weekend, and we used to drink together. And she got to the stage where she said, if you keep doing this, I will not be coming around anymore. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. I thought that I got to do something about this.
I'm sure it did, because you've been with her a very long time, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah. It's the best relationship I've ever been in. And I thought I just can't afford to ruin that and hurt her and all that. So, and I don't know if you've heard the Mark Twain quotes. Giving up smoking is easy. I've done it hundreds of times, right? Well, that's how it was with me. I gave up hundreds of times and tried and tried and tried. And I honestly got to the stage where I thought, I can't, this thing's too strong and I'm never going to win. But the fact that I kept going and going, eventually one day everything fell into place and it just worked.
Right.
And after days, I knew that I would never drink vodka again, that was my drug of choice in the end.
Did you do it all? Like, did you detox and, get clean on your own, or did you go into some sort of treatment or detox center?
The only help I had with it was naltrexone from the doctor.
Okay.
And that it didn't really do a lot for some reason, whereas I've heard other people who took it and they couldn't even get a beer up to their mouth. You know what I mean?
Right.
And for some reason, I don't know what it is, but it didn't really do much. But I'm still on it to this day.
Oh, yeah?
Because the doctor, yes, I am.
Well, that's good. I actually took that in rehab. Yeah, it works different for everybody. Some people it doesn't work for at
Yeah.
all. Others it works very well for.
Yes. I mean, I don't really know why I'm taking it because he says that it also helps because I got like an eating disorder as well, right? And he said that it helps with, what do you call it? Appetite and all that as well. But I don't know if it really does. So, it's probably one of those tablets I probably should just not take anymore. But nowadays, how some people have to quit drinking and never, ever have another drop in their life.
Mhm.
For a few months. I wanted to test if that's how I would be, because I got together with a friend of mine and we had a beer, and as soon as I had it, I just thought that was what it was, and it's not. I don't feel like having any more. So I find now I can still socially have a wine or a beer or whatever, but never and
The hard
there's
stuff.
never any
Gotcha.
consequences. It's not like I want to keep drinking. It's like I have this little bit and then that's more than enough. So, and it's just such an occasional thing now.
Yeah. Actually, my
And it's,
husband is the same way. He's going on his 7th year of sobriety from methamphetamine, but
yep,
maybe I wouldn't even say a handful of times per year he may have a little bit, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
there's a stigma around that because people, even
yeah,
like myself being in the MAT program taking methadone, I've
mm,
constantly heard people tell me, "Oh, you're not clean, you're not sober, this and that." So
mm,
yeah, I get it.
mm,
And people tend to say the same thing about if you have an occasional drink too. But my
mm,
perspective is if it's contained, it's only once in a while. It's not an everyday thing and you're not physically
yeah,
dependent on it and you can control that. I mean, I don't see
mm.
the problem.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just sort of not a fan of the feeling of being drunk anymore. It's just not something I like to do. So I'm extraordinarily lucky that I went from drinking sometimes up to like 4 bottles of vodka a week, constantly. And then I'll probably have a day off because I'm so sick. And my doctor is just amazed that because he said he had another patient who was like 23 and he was drinking like that and he died at the age of 23, whereas I'm slightly older than that now. Yeah. So, it was a really powerful thing. I never thought I'd get out of it, but somehow I did. And, the strange thing too is that I didn't go through like withdrawal symptoms. I
That's
don't
good.
know why. I've seen videos of other people who were alcoholics and they're in bed shaking like this. I had none of that. I don't know why. And the thing is, after about 2 days, maybe 3 of not drinking,
Mhm.
I woke up in the morning and it was like I was on the best drug that man has ever made. I mean, and what it was just endorphins. My doctor told me
Okay.
afterwards.
Makes sense.
And yeah, it's almost like I've swapped the feeling of being drunk for these endorphins, my body thanking me sort of thing. And I don't get it every single day, but when it happens, it's like, this is what it's all about,
Right.
sobriety. So in the early years of drinking, I used to work on the passenger ferries up at Townsville, and I was already like a big drinker. And on the passenger ferries after work, well, first of all, I used to clean them, and we used to always have a few drinks from like there's a bottle of whiskey or rum or whatever, and you just pour yourself a drink.
Okay.
This company, they didn't seem to mind. I'm sure they knew all about it. But when I actually got the job working on the boats as a deckhand,
Cool.
it was party central after work. The crew and everybody would all sit around and drink like big, like that drinks you just held up, but like the bigger size of rum and coke. Have
Mhm.
a few of those, and then I'd walk home and with another couple on the way. So it was just like full on all the time.
Yeah, that's tough
And
for
then I got
people
into
around
the
you. Go ahead.
whiskey.
I didn't mean to
Mm.
interrupt you.
But
I
it
was
was
just
all my
saying that,
fault. I went along with it.
yeah, that's tough. When people around you are doing it, it's so hard to walk away or find something else to do. And people
Mm.
struggling with any sort of type of addiction, in any sort of way, a lot of times they carry some things underneath the surface, like they were battling other things that people don't see because obviously they're silent issues. You had mentioned your ED. Would you like to get into that at all if you're comfortable?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fine. The eating disorder. It all started after my first day of primary school, right? So I went to school. This is, I don't know, not 4 or 75. So it's a long time ago. And I was crying and the teacher decided to tie me to a chair in front of the class, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, this happened. Don't worry. It's no big deal. It's just something that happened.
But it's still
and then
happened to you.
yeah, it was traumatic at the time. And my mother suddenly came, but she had like a psychic feeling something was going on. And she come back to the school. She turned around and come back. And I saw her at the window and then she marched her up the office. And then after a while, and then not long after that, we went on this steam train called Puffing Billy in the Dandenong Ranges. So we're there and there was this big, what do you call it, like an SU or a cooler as you people call it over there, of the sandwiches. And she was taking them out. The same teacher was taking them out and, it had everybody's name on it and she was calling them out. And then she got my sandwich out, called me name. And she was obviously pissed off with me because of, I'd probably ruined a career or something, or my mother, after taking her to the office.
Yeah.
And said my name. And I was like frozen in fear. I was very timid. And then she said it again and she threw the sandwich out the window. So I went hungry that day, come home, and then I got right into eating to deal with the stress of being at school. So it wasn't like a major thing like, somebody molested me or something like that. A lot of other things worse happened to other people. But the point is that was the start of the pattern, and I've battled with it all my life, and I'm sort of partly recovered now. And it helps to have I started the support group.
Yes. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that for our listeners if you're interested in promoting your group?
Sure. Yeah. It's well, I went to Eating Disorders Queensland for a while. It's a great organisation, and they really helped me with things. And on there, they had this like a group where people can just go on there and talk about it.
Right.
It's almost like Alcoholics Anonymous. You go there and those people understand what you're going through. And quite often in life, a lot of people don't even believe that eating disorders exist. Just eat more, just eat less. It's just that they don't understand the psychological thing behind it.
Right.
So this group thing, it was there was only about 3 or 4 people in it. And I was thinking, I reckon I could make one better than this. So I started it. And it's just called Eating Disorder Conversations. And, that the people in the group, they all help each other. It's really nice to see. It makes me feel good that I've created something positive that helps people.
Yep.
And it's not like I'm trying to be a professional or anything, because I'm not. It's just people supporting each other through solidarity. And it's really, really good.
Yes, and for our listeners, I am a member of both his group and his group chat. And if Jason is comfortable, I will include the group link in the description if you're okay with that.
Absolutely.
Like after that happened, after that incident happened with the person that's supposed to be teaching you and was just a terrible person. After that, how long did it take for you to realize that you might have an eating disorder? What happened?
Figured it out myself when I was probably 50, about a year ago, about 55.
Okay.
Today, I went through all the time. I went to so many doctors and said, why can't I stop eating? And it's just like an automatic thing, and it's just controlling me. Not one of them said, oh, you might have an eating disorder. It was only through my own research. I thought this just lines up exactly with the eating disorder. And getting back to the drinking, that wouldn't make it worse, because I live here on my own and I would drink, and then I'd wake up and there's food all over the place, and it was just terrible. And I was even bigger than I am now, but so the alcohol and the eating disorder together was just terrible. Since I've quit the vodka, things have gotten better food-wise, but there's still a way to go. So it's a difficult thing to deal with, that's for sure.
I
But
can't imagine.
anyway, it's
So how did both
yeah,
of
but
those struggles affect your identity and your self-worth? But yeah,
mm,
did you experience any extra stigma when it comes to this stuff? Did you feel shame?
I still feel shame to this day for the things that I've done, and I can't even remember what they are a lot of the times. But people have reminded me.
Yeah.
Yeah, extreme shame, incredible shame.
If you
That it's done.
ever experienced stigma around either the alcohol or the eating disorder or both?
Probably more so with the eating disorder because drinking's just a thing here in Australia. Everybody does. But, it just got to the stage where it was affecting my mind. It was almost like I was starting to see over the edge of the oblivion and into the abyss. And I kept slipping towards the edge. This is like psychologically. And I just kept looking over into the darkness, and I try to quit, and it'd go backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. That's why I always say, just because you try to quit whatever the thing is and you fail at it, you shouldn't really think of it as a failure, but a step towards that time when it just clicks and it all falls into place.
Yes, absolutely.
And you just have to keep trying and trying and trying. And I got to the stage where my mental health was so bad. Yes, I was like a functioning alcoholic, if you call it that, considering the amount that I drank.
Yeah.
I kept everything together, but in my mind, I was really starting to lose it a little bit. I'd wake up every morning with real demons in my head, with this impending sense of doom. And it just went on, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. And so I knew I had to do something, because it was like I was using up all my chips, and sooner or later I'd either lose my mind, lose my body to the graveyard. Even though, oddly enough, even though I'm overweight, my blood pressure's great. I haven't got the greatest eyesight, but when I'd get my eyes tested, they used to have a lot of pressure in the eyes. This is when I was drinking.
Mhm.
And now I had an eye test recently, and that had gone down to normal levels again.
That's
So
great.
somehow or another, I've ended up still being really healthy, except for the weight. It's just amazing where other people die when they're 23. But I just knew that I had to stop it somehow or another. And when my partner said that thing about, if I don't quit,
Mhm.
he's not going to come around anymore, and she
Right.
was serious. And that just hit me like a brick. So I thought that this is just destroying everything, And when my mum was sick, she had cancer, and I went up to my hometown where she lived to look after her. And I done the very best I could. I spent time with her. I spoke to her. Cleaned everything. I cooked. I done everything I could. But there was one night where I lost my temper with it. And this is when I was still drunk. I wasn't actually really drunk at the time, but it's just a symptom of the whole thing. And I lost my temper with her, and she got mad at me and said it's not good enough. And I'm like on my knees begging for forgiveness. It's just another thing in that bucket of all these regrets. And so I lost my mum not long after that. So I have to live with that now, and I've had family members that say about things that have happened through all the years and things that I didn't even know. And that was the motivation to finally do something about it, because I would get
So what
suicidal.
was like your first step
Like if I drank for 3 days, that third day, and edit it out in the.
But
That's right.
what was the first thing that you did once
Yes,
those things happened? Like what were your first steps?
like, oh yeah, well, I didn't go to Alcoholics Anonymous or anything. It was more just like I watched lots of videos on YouTube about people that have quit drinking, because I'm kind of like, I left high school when I was 17 or whatever. So I'm not like educated in that way, but I'm educated through just the school of life. So I would just find any information I could about it, watch all these videos of guys that had quit drinking. And I thought that's, really need that. And honestly, Cindy, it was just a matter of trying again and again and again and again until it finally worked, So I didn't go to rehab withdrawal symptoms. It was just bizarre. So yeah, I'm very, very lucky. Very lucky. And can
What
I
about
ask
you?
you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Before, when you said about me still being on the naltrexone, and then you
Mhm.
were talking about like you're still on methadone. I've always wondered why that you continue with it for so long afterwards. What's the reason for that?
That's a good question. Normally, it's really just one of those medications that you're supposed to take for only a short period of time. But there are, on the other hand, patients like myself that will stay on it for years. Like I know people that are still on it and it's been like 25 years. I'm in my 8th year. And I
Okay.
think the reason for me personally was
Yeah.
it was a way for me to manage my chronic pain without having to go to a pain management doctor and getting like Oxy, Percocet, that kind of stuff. And it also just
Yes.
it makes you feel level. It doesn't make you high feeling. It
Yes.
sucks because of it feels like a ball and chain to your leg. Don't get me wrong, because your body's physically dependent on it. And
Mm,
if you don't have the medication, then of course you
mm,
know what happens. But I think for myself, just the fact that it helps my chronic pain, and I have been scared
mm,
for a while this whole time that if I go off of it, that I won't be able to manage. But I am currently on a taper. I'm doing it very slow. I'm reducing by 2 milligrams every
mm,
2 weeks, and I'm currently on
mm,
46 milligrams. For myself, I built relationships. I built a really good rapport with the people from the clinics. I've been to 3 different ones on account of moving, but it's all the same company, just different locations. So I've known these people
mm.
for 8 years. And actually, in fact, when I'm done with my taper, I plan on staying on my counselor's caseload as a non-medicated patient. So that is
Mm.
available to people. If they do stop the medication, they can still go there for counseling. So yeah, that's my reason.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yes, yes. And if I understand your story, you only sort of started on these things because you had back issues when you were younger. Is that right?
Yes, and since I struggled with the opiate medication that the that the pain management doctor gave me, and then it turned
Mm,
out that the free clinic that I was going to, it was like $15 a visit. So I don't know why they call it a free clinic, but that's beside the point. I didn't
mm,
realize at the time that it would be only 3 months that they could take care of me and give me medication and stuff. I had a time period where I wasn't being seen by a doctor at all. I
mm,
started buying pills off the street. Then I eventually got into a pain management doctor, which takes a while to get into. But once I finally got into one, the first thing that the doctor wanted to do was hand me a prescription for Vicodin. And he knew my family's history of addiction because they see the same exact doctor. Handing an 18-year-old a prescription for Vicodin and saying, let's see how you do is just beyond wild to
mm,
me. But at the time, I think I was already mentally addicted. I think I was already,
mm,
it started very, very quickly for me. And I tried Suboxone. I think the reason it didn't work for me is because the medication, you can only go up to a certain milligram. And then if you need extra, well, then too bad. With methadone, it's more about, getting yourself stable. And you can go up pretty
mm.
high with that. I was on 135 milligrams before, and that's considered
Right.
a stable dose for someone. It seems
Mm,
really, really high, and it is. But
mm,
yeah, it helped me stay clean and helped me feel stable for the last 8 years. And I've been on this tapering thing for about a year or more.
mm,
So yeah, I just didn't want to do heroin anymore because if I couldn't find
mm.
the pills, I had a friend that said, "Oh, well, here, try this," and of course, I did. So
That's right. And I'm so lucky that I didn't have to take something like that for pain,
yeah,
because when I was younger, I know that it'd
right,
just take over like vodka. So even though I've never been on the hard drugs, I certainly don't look down my nose at people that have been addicted to them, because, these things happen for various reasons,
yeah,
and you just don't know if you're going to be the type of person that just,
exactly,
goes
exactly.
crazy with it. So, yeah, but it's I think from what I understand about you, and you started this group and everything, that you get a lot of out of helping other people.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Mm,
it helps
because I,
me in my recovery to be able to help somebody
mm,
else. I'm on this journey with all of you guys too. I'm no better than anybody. I learn from you guys just as much as you learn from me. So yeah, I don't think I would be where I am today if it weren't for the support of the recovery community, my support groups. If I didn't have that, I honestly can say I don't think I would be where I am today without that support.
yeah,
I did not get this far in isolation. I had support. I had people
mm,
helping me, praying for me, rooting for me. So, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it's like the eating disorder support group. I kind of made up a slogan for it: support through solidarity. And to me, that's exactly how it is. And it's great to just look on there, and I can see all these people talking to each other and
Yep.
supporting each other.
Yep.
And that helps me so much, not only with the eating disorder stuff, which I'm still trying to, I'm trying all the time, and I know someday it's going to all fall into place,
Right.
but also with the alcohol thing. Because once I gave that up, it's like now I have to pay back my penance or whatever to even things up again. And I don't think I'll ever really fully pay it off, but I'm compelled to help people. And that's why I agreed to do this interview,
Yeah.
which I was very nervous about.
Well, you have a very
And
powerful story from everything that you've told me prior to this interview. And, in my opinion, lived experience is the job that I'm going for, peer support. They look for that. They
mm,
want someone that's been through hell, somebody that's been to jail. Or
mm,
lived experience to me is one of the best teachers because you can relate to people. They can see you and
yeah,
realize, well, hey, they were pretty much where I was. And if they can do it, maybe I can do it too. So it's really cool.
exactly. So you've just finished a peer support course or something, haven't you? Just
I did.
recently?
I certainly did.
So I was looking into doing a peer support thing, probably a similar thing to that,
Okay.
but I decided against it because to me, there's just something about going to a place of learning, and it just works better for me if I do it sort of my own way.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And plus the expense of it all, the time it'd take, and I have to travel quite a distance. And so that's when I made the
Well,
decision to
things might be
just,
different there in Australia. There might possibly be a way where you could do everything online because I know a good portion of my training was done virtually. So that could be an
yeah, there
option.
are those. Yeah, it's just that I don't really have a lot of money. And, yeah, I sort of had a really not a good experience with school all the way through, like high school and everything. Yeah, probably worried I'd fail at it or something. So I just thought, I'll go out and I'll just try to help people in any way I can. And it's not like I'm going to make any money out of it. I just like to do it. It's just, it helps me as well. You know what I mean?
I completely understand. I did this type of stuff for 12 years and still to this
Mm,
day it's not about the money. It is in a way
mm,
because we can't live without it. But as far as
that's it.
me wanting to do the job, it's exactly what you said because I want to continue to help people. Yes, I may have a social media presence and that kind of thing, but also,
Mm.
being face to face with somebody. Now that's where I'm coming a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I'm really excited to actually be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be, fine. You're the sort of person that helps people, and, and doing it for a job will be just fantastic. You
Thank
know,
you.
it's like I've worked for myself. I've got a little cleaning business. I just clean some offices and stuff. And, it's not really meaningful work as such, but it's good to be self-employed.
Right.
I can work when I want to work, like to a certain extent. You've got to do, like the offices need to be done continuously, but I'm sort of in charge of everything because it never really worked out working for other people.
Me neither.
Yeah, I know. Some people are designed for it. And like up until I was 30, I had 30 different job changes. I sat down and counted them all up once. And some of them I went back to and, so, and then when I was 30, that's when I finally started working for myself.
I love that for
Anyway,
you.
that's good. And also, um, another thing that's helping me as well, because I'm a highly creative person,
Mhm.
an artist, I'm a writer, I'm a musician, singer, and I do some poetry as well. Recently I've started this podcast, it's only had 2 episodes, and I'm just sort of doing it slowly, and looking for people to interview.
Mhm.
And that's coming along really good. I interviewed this 93-year-old man that I know, and it was really, I don't know if have you seen that or?
I
No, I
saw
haven't heard it.
most of the first one, and I watched the whole second part. Um,
Yeah,
and that, like I
yeah,
said,
looking for that in the group.
that guy needs more credit than he gives himself. He has accomplished so much, and it was so interesting to learn about him. He seemed like he was a really cool person, and I'm so sorry to
He was
hear
a
that he
lot.
passed away.
Yeah, well, after the second part, the second one I done, he'd certainly gone downhill because he had dementia, and he had it sort of in his body as well. I didn't know that could
Oh
happen,
wow.
but so the second one, he wasn't as switched on, but I edited all of the gaps where he sort of forgot what he was saying and sort of put it together and made it as natural as possible.
Right.
And 9 minutes later, after that interview, he died. So, it, I was honoured to speak to him. He was an incredible person, and it's a good start for my interviews. So,
Absolutely.
uh,
I'll put your podcast information in the description too, if that's okay with you.
yeah, it's only on YouTube at the moment. It's not in any of the other podcast servers or whatever they are.
Okay.
But what the plan is to do 5 interviews and then launch them on one of those. Which one is your podcast on? What's it called?
Mine?
Uh,
Are you asking me which platform it's on or what it's called?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't remember the name, but it says Guaranteed Human when the podcast I listen to that's on it. What's it called?
Conversations from the Chrysalis on My Journey podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
But the thing that you put it up on, what's that called again?
I use
Radio.
Spotify for creators, and it's really cool because you can upload your videos to Spotify for creators, and then it will branch out and add it to different all it takes is a few clicks, and it'll transfer to Amazon Music. It'll go on to the bigger podcast platforms. So it's really neat. So you don't have to sit there and continuously upload it to places. But YouTube is my main hub for the podcast too. So
Great,
yeah.
great. Well, I want to do 5 interviews, so I'm looking for people. If anyone's watching this and has got an interesting life,
Yeah.
and then I will launch it on Spotify or whatever, So and then just see if people are interested in listening to them, and I will I'll do some more interviews. But it's also the ones with the interviewing Bill. It was I have all these paintings that he done because he was an artist, and all these different with him. So the podcast is going to sort of be a bit of a visual thing as well. Like
Yes,
if I
I
interview
love that. I absolutely love that. It's very cool.
Yeah, if they agree to share their photos, I can put them in as they're talking about it, and put it all up, sort of thing. So all this is big roundabout way to say that I've successfully traded the vodka for creative things, and I've just changed that thinking in my mind, and I know now that no matter what tragedies ever happen in my life, that I won't fall back onto drinking the spirits again. I just know that in my mind. I'll just go through it and deal with things.
Right. Yeah, because honestly, it just makes things worse, and the problem is still there, when you get sober, So
yeah, there's just too many bad consequences for these things.
Right.
So it just gets to that stage eventually. So I'm here today, and I'm sober. I can still have a drink on the odd occasion to be sociable or whatever, but it's not like I'm wiping myself out here at home now. It's good. Yeah. So,
Well, I think you should give yourself more credit. Have a little bit, not bad, not terrible, but you have this habit of putting yourself down and not feeling good enough, or like you don't fit in, and I have to tell you, you do. We are very similar in a lot of ways. You're very inspiring. I enjoy hearing what you have. Whenever we talk, I really enjoy conversating with you. You're a very
mm,
strong-willed person, and I think you need to give yourself a lot more credit than what you do, because you're a terrific person. Of course.
yeah, still working on the self-worth thing.
Well, yeah.
So,
Yeah, me too.
but you got to sort of change certain things in your life it's like if you take something out of your life, like an addiction, it's like you replace it with something positive.
Right.
There's this big gap there, and you just think, oh God, you just think about having a drink or whatever the thing is that you're addicted to. But now that I'm sober, it's a slow thing of trying to get my self-worth up to a good level, because it's just something I've always struggled with.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah, exactly. And all those years of, when you're taking drugs or the alcohol like me, it just takes away so much of your life,
Sure does.
and you're pushing the feelings down. And that's why when you give something up, it is, a lot of people go through like they're feeling everything to the nth
Absolutely.
degree.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything that you spent years numbing and trying to run away from, it was there the
Mm,
whole time, it just, and then it of course it crashes down on people. And that's,
mm,
I wouldn't say the number one reason, but it's up there with why people relapse, because they're just like,
yeah.
what is going on here? Am I going crazy? What is
Yeah.
all this stuff? Because you're not used to it.
I
But
thought
it takes
quitting
time.
drugs and drinking would be great and everything, but it's worse than before, so I might as well go back to it. But you just have to hang in there and wait for the emotions to even out, because it's almost like there's a huge backlog of emotions that your mind has to deal with.
Yeah.
So suddenly it's all at once, and it goes on and on and on for a fair while. But that's the what I would call the no man's land between addiction and sobriety. There is that horrible, horrible thing you have to go through. Like with me, it wasn't physical so much, it was emotional
Yeah.
and my mind and everything. Like I honestly, there were times when I thought, I'd think about something that happened, right? And then I'd think to myself, did that actually really happen? It's almost like, how you have, people can have optical illusions sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like they'll think somebody's there, but they're not there. This is when they're in a really bad way. It kind of wasn't like that with me, but I'd think of things that had happened, and I wasn't sure if that is what actually happened.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
You understand that?
Oh,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
sort of hard to explain to people,
Yeah.
but it was like my mind was it really was starting to go over the edge of the abyss of no return. And boy, what a motivation that was to give it up. And like I said, I honestly thought that I wouldn't be able to. I thought I'm trapped with this forever, but somehow or other I finally escaped. So, whoever's listening to this and they maybe they've tried
Yeah.
and tried to get whatever the thing is over and over and over again. It's not failures, it's just steps towards possibly getting to that stage where it all falls into place.
I
So,
agree. Yeah. I agree.
yeah. So anyway, I'm assuming our time's almost up. Yeah, I really appreciate you talking to me today.
Of course. I'm glad.
Mm,
I'm glad to have you. And like I said, I'm so glad that we were able to do this and have it
yeah.
rescheduled. Question.
Okay.
So for our listeners, if somebody
Mm-hmm.
is listening and they are struggling right now, what would you tell them?
Just don't give up. Don't give up, and tell yourself that you can do this. You just have to keep telling yourself you can, and as I've said 5 times already, just to keep trying.
Yep.
And just really think about whatever that you're on, be it drugs or alcohol, what it's costing you morally, and how much it's hurting the people you love. And if you keep thinking about that, that's sort of the thing that kind of motivates you just to keep going and to get rid of. And the thing is, a lot of people, when they give up drinking, they think, oh, life's going to be so boring without alcohol. Guilty as charged. So same way. I love drinking. You know, when I was on the whiskey, I'd go up to the bar and say, I'll have a Scotch and dry, you know, like on James Bond or something.
Yeah.
But it was all just garbage, you know.
Yep. An illusion.
It's not something that it's an illusion, exactly. Is that what you said? An illusion?
Yes. And
Yeah.
you're definitely not boring. Like, there are so many ways to have fun and enjoy life without being messed up on something.
Exactly. Yep. And you go through, it's not like every day is all roses and wonderful or anything. Of course, you're going to have your bad days.
Right.
Feel it, go through it, because you can't avoid it. Like, you might have avoided it for years and years on end, pushing it down and down and down. And then when you gave up, it all came up, and, you know, and like you say, that's when a lot of people relapsed. But on the other side of it, it's just, life is just so much better. But you have to do something. Like with me, creativity is the most important thing for me. My art, my writing, my music, singing, and different things like that. And I have to keep doing those, because if I don't, and sit in front of the computer watching videos for too long or whatever, I just start to go crazy. Yep. And I'm not much of an exercise person, but I've recently started walking every day.
Good for you.
Good for the mind. It's good for the body. And it's kind of helping me just get the eating disorder stuff on track. So I've recently lost 3 kilos in the last couple of weeks, but I've been.
Do you know how much that converts to in pounds?
Okay. I'd done a bit of a calculation the other day, and I think 10 kilos is 20 pounds. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to work that out.
Good for you.
Yeah. So, but the weight is something I've battled for years, but, you know, it's the same thing again. I've just decided that I am going to lose the weight, because I have fibromyalgia and like problems, pain from having too much weight on me. So it's not like a vanity thing so much, but it's even though I don't like what I see in the mirror, but I'll feel better physically when I do that.
Yeah.
So so that's just something I'm embracing. So it's been about 4 years or something like that, maybe a bit longer.
That's awesome. It's great.
And I hope I've helped someone today by just telling my story.
Yeah. I mean, we each have our own story and lived experience, and people hearing other people's stories, that can help save people's lives. Even if you don't think that, you know, I think I did a terrible job during this interview, I don't think anybody's going to learn something from me. You are 100% wrong, because somebody will take something away from this interview that it's very important.
That's right.
Yeah.
And these things they could be there for decades online, you know, as long as the internet's there. So way off in the future, maybe long after I'm gone, you know, it might help someone. And I'm just so that really means a lot to me, you know. Not that I'm going to go anywhere soon. I think I'm going to live to be about 100, but yeah, it's good. And it's good. It's just good to be more healthy and feel better in the nowadays. So.
And taking care of ourselves for once, instead of sabotaging our bodies.
Yeah, that's right. The old self-sabotage thing is something I'm still working on, but, you know.
Same. Yep, same.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. Anyway, it's getting pretty late here in Australia. So what time is it there?
It is.
Middle of the day?
It's 2 p.m.
Right. And you live in Pennsylvania, is that right?
Oh, good old Pennsylvania. 34 years of my life. Never been really anywhere else.
Right. Okay.
I visited places. I really enjoyed Tennessee and that kind of thing. And also, I liked New York because of the Broadway shows there. We went to see The Lion King, but I'm just not like a huge city person. So I also enjoyed Tennessee, but I think if I would ever move to Tennessee, it would have to be somewhere in the country and without a million neighbors around me. That's just the way I am. I like to have my own space.
Right. Okay.
But
that's
PA
good.
is beautiful. It's rolling hills, mountains. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah. Is it cold there? Is it sort of up the north part of America?
I mean, honestly, our weather is very strange. It seems like it gets worse from year to year. I'm not sure why, probably the climate issues, and I'm really not exaggerating when I say this, we can experience all 4 seasons in one day.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I'm
Mm,
serious. If you think, "Oh, it's
mm,
gonna be bright, beautiful, and sunny out all day," wrong. Bring an umbrella, bring a
mm.
raincoat because anything could change.
Right. Wow.
So if you ever come to PA, make sure you pack a whole bunch of different clothing.
Yeah. Wow. Sounds really good. It's really hot in Brisbane, but it's actually just starting to get cool now. So my favourite time of year. So it's a good time to start the walking and everything. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. My
Anyway,
favorite is the
thank you.
fall. The fall here is beautiful, I think.
Yeah.
The trees and the way that the leaves turn. I just
Mm,
love it, you know. Haven't really
mm,
experienced too many other places, so I can't really say too much about
yeah.
that on that aspect. But yeah, I love Pennsylvania. We'll probably move out of here eventually. Tucker wants to go back to Delaware where he's from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he doesn't think I'll be able to handle it just because of, like I said, huge city and all these people and oh God, yeah. Not really looking forward to that part. Yeah, and also the heat and humidity. He doesn't think it's hot
Oh,
right now, but last week where I was training in Allentown, it was like 96 degrees with 85% humidity. That
oh,
was not fun.
right. No. Yeah, the humidity's the worst, that's for sure. Yeah. Well, thank you for talking to me and really appreciate it.
It was a
So
pleasure, Jason. Like I said, I am so glad that we got to do this.